Ladies and gentlemen, please rise. And now to honor America, please join in the singing of our national anthem. Representing the three-time Stanley Cup champion New Jersey Devils, Arlette.
I feel like I'm at a game. Oh my gosh. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the
Happy Devils Sunday. This is the Let's Go Devils podcast, season 5, episode 2. Preseason's about to start on Wednesday against the Capitals. I'm your host, Sam Wu, here with Scotty of SiriusXM, Liquid Metal, and Beer Baron. Streaming live on Facebook Live, Twitter Live, YouTube Live, and Twitch on the Primetime Radio Network. Happy Devil Sunday to Mike Rossi, and also... hello, everybody. I hear an air conditioner in my background. Do you hear an air conditioner? Here, let me mute Beer Baron. Yeah, that took care of that. Yeah, that took care of that. Let's mute Beer Baron. I will take care of your technical difficulties in a second, but we got to mute you because I got to give a special shout out to Nate, who I met at Arlette's 50th birthday bash. He said this podcast, every Monday morning, he listens to Sunday Edition podcast, and he says,
What's up,
it
Nate?
makes my work week tolerable.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yep.
I
right.
thought you were going to say it made it worse. Like, that's the way you started out on, like, bad foot or something like that.
You're unmuted, Beer Baron. I don't know what you did, but you solved the problem.
I didn't do anything. There's no air conditioner or anything on anywhere around here, so I have no idea what that was. It's just a ghost. And it's good to be back. Nate, thank you for the support, my friend. People like you are the reason why we do this every Sunday. So, Scotty, it's been a while. It's been a couple weeks. I've had a lot of things going on, so I've been away from the podcast. I know you guys have been holding down the fort. We haven't had a chance to talk about this upcoming season or any of the PTOs. I know you guys have probably talked about all that stuff in length, but I have to say, my friend, I'm getting pretty excited because we are less than a week away from actual game action, which is going to be pretty exciting. So I wanted to, I know, like I said, you probably talked about this with Sam for the last couple of weeks while I was on my little sabbatical. But what is your temperature of this team right now? What are you feeling? What are you feeling going into these little scrimmages right now?
What do you mean temperature?
Like, how do you feel? How do you feel about Jimmy Vesey? How do you feel about the team overall? Who is there anybody? We have an hour to discuss.
I'm not. Those guys. I'm not. Whatever. I don't think they'll be. They're just here for a flash until some of the younger kids are there. You know, if they end up working out in some sort of role, great. But I'm not banking too much on like, you know, the Jimmy VCs and that sort of stuff.
Yeah, you know, I have to say it's kind of funny that I hear Wilson just lapping it up in the background. But
my dog's name is Winston.
Winston
For the 400th time. Winston. He's not a volleyball from Castaway.
Well, my that's my fault. My parents' dog is named Wilson, so I get confused.
Unacceptable.
Unacceptable.
But,
in that little scrimmage that they had the other day, VC had a couple of points, and I was watching his I guess post game presser with just kind of going over everything, and everybody's basically asking the same questions. Was this summer any different? And he was like, well, yeah, obviously it was a little bit different. What are your expectations, and yada yada yada, and you get the same old kind of BS answers. But since the moment that they brought him in for a PTO, I couldn't stop thinking about the whole coming down to either the Devils or the Rangers, and Liam Neeson had to make this taken video to attract Jimmy Vesey to the New York Rangers, and it worked because Liam Neeson told him to go there. I was like, I wonder who told him, or like what video did they send? I made that joke, like I wonder if they sent like a video of Danny DeVito saying like, "Come on, you want to play here."
I think Jimmy Vesey was just happy to get a PTO. I think that's what it was, man. It's ironic that Butcher is gone. Butcher's in Buffalo, and then there you go, Andy Williams. He's the old Butcher from Every Time I Die, from Buffalo. But Will Butcher's up in Buffalo, and now VC is over on the Devils. Yeah, it's kind of funny how those things like work out in the end. But if anything comes from him, whatevs. Me and Sam Wu were really talking about the prospects game last week, but there has been some sort of news, kind of recent-ish, that obviously you and I have not had a chance to discuss, and it's something that I think is extremely important to this upcoming season.
Okay.
So I want to run this by you now.
Go ahead.
It's been reported.
Okay.
That Mr. Zaka will be back at center for this upcoming season. Now, me personally, this is just in my own opinion, my own humble opinion here. I thought the performance for what we were looking for on that offensive side started to come out more when he was on the wing.
Yeah.
And now, it seems to me like, well, we don't know how it's going to play out, but a lot of the stuff has been coming out, who's going to be that third line center? Is it going to be Zaka? Does McLeod move up? They got a couple other guys too. Who are the other PTOs that they have in there? They have some other couple veteran, like big guys, like Brian Boyle size, whoever it was. I can't remember who it was, but do one of those guys pan out? Does Dawson Mercer? Who was it? I think it was Ramona last week or the week before was telling us that Holtz and Mercer are going to make the team out of camp. So does Dawson Mercer end up making the team? Does Jesper Boquist, who kind of switched there to center last year? I think my main thing is I just wanted to see, this is what I'd like to take your temperature on. Hot or cold? Moving Pavel Zaka back to center away from wing. For me, that's cold. That's not a devilish hot for me. I don't know. I could be wrong.
Cold-blooded.
Been wrong before. But what do you think? Am I missing something? You've coached hockey. I haven't.
So, my take on it is I don't hate the idea because you're really searching for that third line center. They have solidified down the middle, 1, 2, and 4, it seems like. I think that they're really sold on McLeod being that fourth line center. And they're not really willing to budge off of that. And I don't blame them. I think that's the perfect role for him. And I think that, that line can generate a lot of pressure. And circling back to the whole VZ thing, him working on that line with Michael McLeod, I think there's potential there. So if he does make it and you got the other younger kids in the AHL kind of like just getting their feet wet so that, you have a guy like a VZ like kind of as a placeholder until one of those guys is ready, or you want to make that switch. That's one thing. But putting Zacha in the beginning of the year as your third line center is not a terrible idea, depending on who you have on the wings on the 1-2. So you have to look at the line of Nico Hischier, Bratt, and Zacha, because that line always seemed to have really good chemistry, right? So, well, if you're taking Zacha off that line, who's going to fit into that spot? Is it going to be Tatar that's going to fit into that second line role? More than likely, right?
I would guess so. Someone I know who was a little read some things about him, being a little burned, Montreal, kind of like sitting him down in the playoffs and everything like that. I mean, he what was he, like the third or fourth leading scorer on the team or something like that? Point wise, I think, and then something, or I don't remember. But I know that Montreal sat him down after like in the first round, right? And they never put him back in. So
yeah. I don't know.
He's excited to prove himself again, which is a good situation for the Devils to be in. Someone like that who we know has got a lot of talent, has got that fire lit underneath him again to go out and prove to the world, like, okay, so you make me feel a little bit better there, but what happens if we start seeing that production go away then from Zacha?
Well, that's the thing is you don't want to really mess with putting someone in shuffling lines in the beginning of the year, so letting him sit there at the third center for a little while until you get things figured out. And it might not be a permanent solution, too. Now, keep in mind, like, they could go into these – they're not going to be playing, all the starters throughout these, the preseason games. It's not – that's not how it's going to be. Yeah. It's not how it's ever going to be.
Yeah, right.
But would it be shocking to see him go out there and play center, and if he's push and play, and if he looks like he's comfortable again, and if he looks like he's, doing well in the face-off circle, I think you stick with it, and you stick with it as long as you need to, because, I think having him at center is not going to be a detriment to the team. I think it's not going to, put them back into a position where they're going to be, well, we can't put Zacha out there for a face-off because we're going to be, in a bad position. So I don't think it's a terrible idea. I understand what you're saying. I am a very big, proponent of consistency and keeping lines together, through thick or thin, letting them figure themselves out, letting them go through the highs and the lows, letting them kind of develop that, natural chemistry with each other. That's why John Hines always drove me crazy of like the constant juggling of the lines. It was like, just give them, like, everybody's going to have a cool night, man. Just let them figure it out. But, yeah, I don't think it's that terrible of an idea.
Okay. I see some people on the Facebook page saying Jesper Boquist would be better off there.
Yeah, but what has Boquist shown you that Zacha hasn't at center? If you're looking for a little bit more stability, you put Zacha in that position. But if you're looking for keep Zacha at that wing, I don't mind seeing Boquist put into that position. But I don't think he showed you enough to be in that third line position yet.
Okay. Fair enough. Yes, Sam Wu in the corner.
Do you guys think that Lindy Ruff is using some coaching strategy right here and thinking, okay, let's say that Zacha is competing for a spot at center, the first two lines 1 and 2?
You mean like motivation to get under the skin of whoever he's trying to push?
Yeah, I mean, basically, if you read it verbatim, I don't have the exact quote. It's basically he's starting the season at center.
Well, that's my point. You're starting with something that's with a little bit more stability.
Yeah.
Yeah, you start with stability, and then you could start to shuffle things around. You don't want to go into it like the worst thing that you could do is you put somebody in that position and they fall on their face. Now, if Zacha falls on his face, at least you can put him back on that wing and he'll be fine, in theory. But if somebody else falls on their face, then, oh, crap, we have nowhere to put this guy. So it makes more sense. And then you ease somebody into that role. I think it's a smart move. I really do.
Okay. I like it. I trust you. Sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes.
This time maybe. This time maybe.
The big Texas ties 10-4. Yeah, I got to say, by the way, we haven't talked in a while. I've been like hooked on this show, Letterkenny. I don't know if you've ever seen it or heard about it. It's on Hulu. Letterkenny. If anybody out there knows that it is a fantastic show. You will like it. You, my friend, you would like it. So it's a highly recommended show. Moving on.
Well, that was going into training camp. I feel like that was my big, but besides all the, to see who's going to make it, who's going to get cut, blah, 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 all that. I mean, but that was the real thing that because I really liked Saka on that wing. He seemed to I don't know, it just seemed to fit him better. Maybe he feels more comfortable at center. I don't know. But he just seemed to really fit in there well. But maybe he can have similar chemistry with Jesper Boquist or someone else similar like that who does end up playing there on that third line.
Mm-hmm. Well, I wish we could see what the line combinations are going to shake out to be, but obviously that's going to be, a process of going through training camp and also going through the preseason, seeing there's guys that surprise you and make the team, that nobody thought would even come close to sniffing the lineup. But the coaches might see something in somebody and say, all right, you know what, Stillman, we're going to give you a shot. Or, you know what, hey, whoever, like somebody that nobody would expect. And then that guy jumps into the lineup and then, bam, makes an instant impact. That's not uncommon. I'm not saying that I'm going to go out there on a limb and say, this guy or that guy's going to actually, go out there and actually do this. But at the same time, like, there's a lot of things that need to shake out. There could be a trade before the actual season starts. Sometimes that happens. It's very rare. It's very rare, but there is, once in a while you see that early October trade and something gets kind of shaken up. So, where this team is going to be, we kind of have what the number one line is going to be. We have at least what the number two line is going to be in theory, but those things could all change. Who knows?
Well, I just want to throw this out at you. So in the scrimmage today that was going on, was this Team B and Team C, it looks like. So this is what we had working here for Team B. Kuokkanen, Zaka, Holtz, Wood, Mercer, Clark, Talavidi, Jankowski. That's one of those. That's one of the PTOs. Big boy, right? Jankowski. He's like 6'4", 6'5". He's like Brian Boyle. And DeLeo. Okay. On defense, he had Siegenthaler and Subban and White and Ball. And then Team C, you had Sharon Govich, Hughes, Tatar, Foote, Boquist, Studenik, and then Stillman, is a Schmelzer, and Flynn. With Graves, Hamilton, and then Vukojevic and Jaros. Defense there. Those are some interesting line combinations. I don't think we're going to see those particularly, but like the way they're split up, there's some interesting stuff there.
And did you happen to see what the final of that scrimmage was? Not that anybody should really take any weight into those. I believe it was like 4-0.
Really?
Team B. I could be dead wrong about that.
Jack Hughes shines. Okay. All right. Okay.
But that's the thing is that shouldn't be like, oh, Jack Hughes did what now? It should be like, yeah, you're right. He did do that. That's expected.
Oh, so no, wait. It was 5-4. What are you talking about?
5-4. I don't know. I saw that 4-0. I probably caught like an earlier tweet or something like that. But anyways, my point being is like there's a couple things that are going into the season that I think that are going to we're going to need to see as fans. We're going to need to see winning, and that's an obvious. I don't think I'm speaking out of turn with, we need to actually see this team make improvements where we're not guessing who our number one overall pick is going to be when we, get into the later stages of freaking February. I want to see this team take a step forward. I don't expect or need to see this team make the playoffs, but I want to see them pushing for a playoff spot. And I think everybody on the, in the fan base can agree to that, right? Jack Hughes confidently came out and said that he expects to see his game take another big jump forward. What does that mean production wise to you? Like by him saying something like that, because I know what it means to me, but I'm kind of curious when you have somebody that's supposed to be as talented or that is as talented as Jack Hughes is coming out and saying like, listen, I expect to be here. What does that here look like to us? Like, what do you think that looks like?
Okay, so I'm going to look at this right now. Last year, Pavel Zacha led the team with 35 points. Jack Hughes had 31. So if he's going to have a quote-unquote breakout, I'm going to say, like, no, I don't want to do this because then I'm going to get nailed. I'm going to get nailed on this. If it doesn't happen...
I'm not saying what you.
I'd like to see.
What would you like to
see? What would I like to see? Like a 20-40 at least. 20 goals, 40 assists, at least like 60 points. Like that's what everyone wants to see him take that step into that next level. That's that next level, getting that point total up there. I mean, 31 is whatever. It was a crazy season, and I get it. Like blah blah blah. As soon as he started to find some line mates, they got some chemistry. They worked well together. But that's what if you're going to be that superstar, you got to get up into that level. You can't be a number one superstar and be putting up 40 points, like it doesn't work that way. Like need you to make the wingers better. You got to be that player that makes the other guys better on the ice, as well. And I think he can be. I think he totally can be.
And there's something about those superstar players. Like, I hate to bring up the name, but anytime Kovalchuk, when he was on the Devils, anytime he had the puck on his stick and he came across that blue line, the crowd would stand up because you had this anticipation that something was going to happen. At the very least, that's what you want to get that feeling with Jack. You want to get that feeling if Jack's coming in and he's got the puck on his stick and he's coming across the blue line, you just want that feeling in your heart like, oh man, like grabbing your buddy next to you like, oh man, here it comes. Like, this is going to be it. He's going to do something nasty. And you want to see him finish. I think expectation-wise, point-wise, like you said, I hate putting numbers on that because people will be like, oh, how could you say only 60? He should be going for 80 this year and blah, blah, blah. It's like, no, well, you have to be realistic on who's his wings and this and that and the other thing. But what I want to see is I just want to see
60 to be doubling his career total. So I think that would be pretty good.
I agree, but I'm just saying there's always going to be the person out there that's saying like, well, he could be going for 40 goals and 60 assists. He could be hitting that 100 mark. I just want to see, like he's been saying, that step up, but not just scoring wise. I want to see an all around game. I want to see him better in the faceoff circle where he really struggled at points. I want to see him be more of a leader and, take control of certain circumstances. I want him to be Jack. Yeah. Thank you. I want him to be Jack. Are you drinking a Colt 45?
No, it's tea. It's iced tea.
Oh, I was like, dang, man. You're really going hard tonight.
It's unsweetened tea.
Just really going for it. Get that malt liquor going.
Right.
But no, I just want to. I want to see him and seeing Nico Hischier play a healthy, full 82 slot, and see what he's got as the captain. With a full season under his belt. There's a lot of little things in this team that, looking forward to, and just our expectations don't need to be through the roof, but they just need to be, they need to be mild, but they need to be met by the team.
I agree. I think that's fair on both ends. Mild, but met. Don't get crazy out of control. And I think they're going to, just with the improvement they have, not only from our homegrown talent, but Tatar, Graves, Dougie friggin' Hamilton. This team, I'm going to knock on wood right now. I hope I don't get the injury bug or whatever, but like this team looks like it will just be, naturally a better team, So I think they're going to take those steps forward. I think with that leadership, with that experience that just those three can bring. Plus, I'm sure they're going to sign another veteran or two. I mean, I was quietly hoping that Travis Zajac would come back for one more year. But, dude retired. He said he was done with it and it was over. And fair enough. He knows if he's ready to hang it up or not. So I was kind of hoping that he would come back for just like one more season or something like that. Playing like a fourth line role there. But either way, whoever we do sign, just to take a little bit of that pressure, off of, Nico and Jack, Yanni, Igor. There's a lot of young guys, like Dougie Hamilton Dougie Hamilton's going to be able to guide them through so much more. Thomas Tatar went through a lot last year, like we were just talking about. He's a veteran. He's got a chip on his shoulder again, but he learned from it. He's not just like a 21-year-old kid going out there crazy, he's a professional hockey player, and he's going to go and he's going to show them out on the ice. It's going to be a good situation for us as Devils fans. But I think what you said I was just going to say, I think what you said is really well put. Mild, but met. We're not going to get crazy and expect an 80-point season from you, Jack, but I would say, like, I definitely want to see above 50, for him and Nico, and
I don't think I don't think that's asking a lot. Yeah. And I don't think that's asking the world, because if you look at the production of that line of Kuokkanen and Hughes and Sharangovich, they really started to click. And if that line can continue, especially Sharangovich, I think that I really, and I know like people will be like really going out on a limb on that one, but like, Sharangovich might be the diamond in the rough on his team. He might be one of those guys that a lot of people slept on, that we got lucky, we found one, and now he's out there and he's really starting to put together a really nice, solid NHL career.
It's like Jesper Bratt.
Kuokkanen. Yeah, well, the same. Yeah, and that's another guy too. Is Jesper Bratt had a quiet, good season last year. It wasn't going to blow you away. It wasn't going to put up stats like, a Crosby or, a Connor McDavid, but it was a pretty solid season. Now, his thing is consistency, to do that throughout the entire year and not have these weeks where he just kind of disappears for a little while. But I mean, realistic expectations of this team is just to be consistent and not consistently bad. Because that's been their moniker. They get hot and then they just cool way the F off, and they are consistently bad for stretches, and it's hard to watch.
Well, I heard that Jesper Bratt is now, an MMA fighter.
Where's the beef?
He learned Kung Fu. He might be able to fly as well, kind of like Raiden. And I think Kenny Omega taught him the V trigger when AEW was at the Rock 2 weeks ago, which, by the way, was awesome. I don't know if anyone out there is a nerd wrestling fan like I am, but so well done. Lots of references to the Devils. CM Punk on the commentary team, who is a huge hockey fan, got it a little wrong, but still, it's nice hearing him say the house that Danico built, even though I don't think Ken ever played in that arena there. CM, but that's okay. It's okay. But it was so nice to hearing all the Devils references. Good old JR. Speak of the devil, in the home of the Devils. Like, I was like, they got a lot in there. And it was really great when Cody Rhodes and Malachi Black came out. I don't know if anyone caught it, but Cody's been wearing all white, Malachi obviously all black. But when Cody came out, he was in red, so they were in red and black, fighting.
That's pretty cool.
And everything. That is pretty cool. It was really well done. There was a lot of touches. MJF, obviously from Long Island, made remarks about your second-rate hockey team and stuff like that. So it was good keeping the rivalry up and stuff like that, and some wonderful pans of those championship banners. If anyone didn't get to see it, good stuff. Really good stuff. They did an awesome job. But it was so cool hearing all the Devils references on the on a national broadcast like that.
Yeah. And it makes me happy and makes me smile, because this team, sometimes we always, jokingly say, like, come on, the PR of this team, they need to like put it out a little bit more. And that's just hockey in general. But to hear that, that's pretty awesome. And the fact that, like you said, those little touches, like that stuff's that's pretty awesome. But
the Cody Rhodes thing was cool, because they've just been doing the night and day stuff, and so he's always been coming out in all white. But that game, or that Wednesday night, man, he was in that nice Devils red, dude. Like it looked cool. And of course, you see all the Devils logos on the seats, when they're like going through, everyone's standing up and everything. It was great, man. But either way, Yegor Sharangovich, I totally agree with you. Sorry to get sidetracked there.
No.
I think much like Jesper Bratt is a diamond in the rough. And I know Sam Wu was telling me that Jesper has been beefing up, and I think he stepped up a lot last year, tremendously, getting into scuffles and, throwing down and protecting his teammates, but just growing into that leader. And he's another one. What was he, like a fourth, fifth, sixth round? What was he, a fourth round pick or something like that?
Yeah, he was pretty late. He was definitely late, not near the top. That's for sure. Yeah.
I don't. Yeah, go ahead. Good.
He's just been he's quietly had a nice little career so far. But if everybody can stay healthy, knock on wood again. Sixth round.
So
if everybody can stay healthy, then yeah. So I have to say, we have a kind of one of our fans out there, Adam Morgan, says the defense is going to be fun to watch again. Finally, they won't be the glory days of the '90s, but they're big and can clear the crease and make space if needed. That is such a huge point because
needed. Glory days.
Yeah, exactly. But this team
tonight, glory days.
This team has been missing those big physical defensemen. And Fitzy put it out there. I think he has what some people say a type, if you know what I mean. Like he has a type of hockey player in mind. These big 6'2" to 6'5".
Is he like blonde
monsters?
Or is he a wild redhead?
I don't know. I don't think he's. I'm not going to say what I'm going to say. Never mind. But I'll remind me to go circle back to that after we're off air. I'll say something funny. But yeah, dude, I think that the defense is going to be a lot of fun to watch. I think PK Subban is going to have a nice season this year because of two reasons. Number one, he's in a contract year. Number two, he's also not going to have to be top dog, so you don't have to rely on him on heavy minutes. You could put him in situations that you think he's going to flourish. Yeah, I think that what they're doing is they're building a nice foundation. I mean, a lot of pieces were already there. Let's be real. Ty Smith coming into his own is been a nice thing to watch. Siegenthaler, I think, is a nice piece. He doesn't have to be, an everyday guy, but he's a nice piece to throw in there every once in a while. Graves is going to be a hell of a piece to throw in there, and I think that is a very underrated trade by Fitzy on his behalf to the Graves.
Send him to the Graves, Ryan. Sweep the leg. Yeah. Send him to the Graves.
I don't think it's all going to rely on Dougie Hamilton's shoulders, but having him back there, it's a nice insurance policy. I agree. I agree 100%. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch. It's going to be a hell of a lot more interesting. And by the way, for those that don't understand this, you have a good, solid defense that's going to help the production of your forwards too, because we're not going to be pinned down in our own zone for the entire, length of a period.
No,
so it's all circles around.
It's a huge thing. And, we've talked about it. Some of our, very large-sized defensemen that are going to be coming through the pipe. Just think about that guy Chara and Victor Hedman and the reach that they have. Like they can literally get their stick like halfway across the ice. We're going to have a couple guys on our team that can do that. It's going to work wonders, on the defensive side. Let alone them getting in front of the puck to block some shots,
Yeah.
Because they are less room in front of that net. I like it.
I mean,
as Samu likes to say, the NFC.
Monster.
Oh yeah, NFC is coming.
Yeah, and that's the thing is also to have a physical presence out there because you have a lot of very not so big forwards out there. and you can't rely on your fourth line to go out there and clean it up all the time, because then you're going to be taking ice time away from them when they can actually be going out there and being productive. And you have just these big bodies. They don't have to go up there and start dropping the mitts and getting into fights all the time. But if you have somebody that's going to put you in the corner and put their whole body weight into you and put their size against you, it's not gonna be fun. So beefing up the defense, I think. Listen, this team on paper, I don't want to get excited. I don't want to get ahead of myself. I'm happy where they are. Are you going to be like? I'm happy.
Are you going to be caffeine pills, Jesse Spano from Saved by the Bell? I'm so excited.
I'm so scared. Yeah, pretty much. I'm so scared. I'm spinning out of control. That was the rewrite. The original, she was hooked on methamphetamine, but they thought it was a little too racy for daytime television. Tarek, I don't know if we can have Jessie getting straight A's because she is hooked on speed and meth. And so that actually, for those that don't know, that show got rewritten into what we know as Breaking Bad. That the whole is full circle, all full circle.
Yeah.
All full circle.
She pulls the wig off, and then she's just, she's Walter White all of a sudden.
or did you ever notice that there was a correlation between her name being Jessie and Jesse from Breaking Bad?
Okay. All right.
We just cracked the code? They're both in high school. You never got to see the it's not even like it's like going off the rails before the season starts,
I know.
But hey, dude, listen, we got a couple weeks. What's today's date?
We got 1 week. This is it. It's starting.
No. I'm talking about the start of the season. October 15th is the start of the season. So
the preseason is this week.
Yep, this Wednesday.
Is that yes, it's Wednesday, right? Yeah. September the 29th. That's a 4 p.m. 4 p.m. start for old Scotty out here in Los Angeles. But yeah, this Wednesday, man, we start, which is it's like, I wish, do they have a lineup? They don't have a lineup yet. I'm excited to see who's going to get out there in the first game. It's going to be fun. I wonder how they'll play that. Wonder how Lindy and Fitzy are going to play that. Who will be out there the first game?
Yeah, are they doing? I wonder if they're also going to be doing the split squad. Remember they did that a couple of times, where they basically had like.
I'm sure.
Team A was playing the Rangers at Madison Square Garden. Team B was playing the Islanders over at the Rock. Or if they're going to like not do that because they don't want to have like too many people in too many places at one time.
That is also true. I don't know what they're going to do with the restrictions or whatever. Yeah, I was wondering, are we going to get to see one of these potential lines together? Or
like
are they going to be split up, through these different Team A, B, C, Quoken what was on B, and Hughes and Sharangovich were on C today. So I don't know,
man. It's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be real interesting because
Wednesday night, baby.
Wednesday night's gonna be here
at the same time. It's gonna be interesting.
It's gonna be. Yeah, I know. Long day. Oktoberfest. It was a long Oktoberfest. So what do you think? I'm drinking water right now. Need to rehydrate. So
that's why your face is so red.
Yeah, no, it's just it's a reflection of my shirt. I'm hoping. No, it's not. It's not it. It's not it. I was out in the sun. I was out in the sun. I was in the sun having a couple beers. That's what happens.
Couple.
Just a few dingers. Just a few dingers. So I know when we get into the closer to the part of the season where we're like, all right, in 2 weeks basically, we'll be close to the start of the season where we could start to, kind of like make predictions. Things will shake out a little bit more. Some of the PTOs will be here or gone, which is going to be another interesting thing because I always find that to be, some guys come in and they make a super good impression, and they're like, all right, come on in. I think it was, what the heck was his name? And he was on like 3 PTOs in a row. War 18. Come on. I'm like, my brain is obviously not working right now. Recently, come on. Begin with an S. Began with an S.
I know who you're talking about.
What the heck? I can't even remember. I felt like he was on a PTO like every year, and they're like, all right, come on. Oh, Stafford. Come on, man.
Oh, yeah. Drew Stafford.
So wasn't Drew Stafford like on 3 years in a row? They're like, come on, Drew, you want to just be a PTO, or what do you want to do?
What do you say? You want to come PTO again? Go last year, huh? You want to go be PTO?
Yeah.
You want PTO?
How'd you do? You want to stay? You want to stick around? Nah, we're not going to give you a contract. But if you want to come back to camp, we like you there. Come on over. I mean, we got your bunk.
I feel like we've always, there's been a few gems that we've found here and there in the old PTOs. I mean, Stafford, well, gem might be a strong word, but for what he was serviceable. Came in a pinch when we had injuries and stuff like that. So Drew Stafford did good there for a couple years.
Yeah, that's it. That's all you have to say about that. That's the end of that story. Just put a period on that and put it to bed. Because I don't think anybody's going to be out there with their Stafford jersey on going, well, go on. What else did he do? He was fantastic. I'm sure he was a nice enough guy. Nowhere to go. That's it. He was very serviceable, probably a nice guy, good teammate, very funny. And that's it. End of story.
I heard he made the best ribs. Best ribs. Homemade. Yeah.
Homemade sauce. Everything.
Oh, yeah.
Homemade.
Yeah. He would do the rub. And then,
hey, don't try not to give away the man's whole secret recipe on air. I mean, I don't think he would appreciate it.
It's like Paulie and Goodfellas. You got to use the razor blade to cut the garlic. You got to get it real thin.
Oh, you have to. Because then it melts when it's in there. It's like it melts like butter. I honestly, I'm kind of hoping that VZ obviously makes his team. If you couldn't tell already, there's like a part of me that if he does, because he's got so much potential. Yeah, he's got so much potential. But there's like this.
How old is he?
He's still young enough. Yeah, he's got to be in his like mid-20s, 26. I want to say somewhere around there.
26. That's what I was thinking. Is he 26 or 27? Because Butcher was
He's got to be there.
7, right? I'm gonna look it up. Go ahead. I'm gonna look it up.
It's funny, like that whole interview when they're like, so how's it feel to have to be a PTO? And he's like, I don't know, not good. Like, I just, like, I love those questions because it's like, what do you want him to say? Like, oh, well, I've been, screwing around too much and I wasn't really taking the NHL seriously. So now I guess I have no choice. I got to take it serious. I kind of want to look up Will Butcher's responses to those kinds of questions. Where they're like, well, Butcher, what happened? You're a Hobie Baker winner, and then you went to the Devils. You had a great rookie season. Then after that, the wheels fell off. And he's like, yeah, I don't know what to tell you. That's just, there you go. You nailed it on the head. So, I don't know, man.
He's 28. 28.
Oh, well, older than I was expecting.
Will be actually turning 29. Well, next year. Sorry, next year.
Oh, okay.
So May the 26th is his birthday. So he just turned 28 not too long ago.
Oh, that's not bad. I mean, considering he's going to be an elder statesman on this team, considering this team is average age, I think, is 24.
If he makes
younger. If he makes it, yeah.
If he makes it.
If you make it, or if you don't.
If you don't, maybe you can park the cars or something like that, when all the guys come. I don't know. We'll see. See if we can make something for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I mean, this team, what actually, something I'm really excited for. Jonathan Bernier.
Yes.
That's what I'm really excited for.
Yes.
Having some solid goaltending. Because I'm looking here at Cap Friendly. I was just looking at all the, the PTOs. With Janikowski and stuff like that, Jimmy Vesey. And then just scroll right up, and I'm like, oh, yeah, almost forgot. That's almost kind of like a forgotten thing. It's like, yeah, we signed Jonathan Bernier as well. You know, like,
Yeah.
we have some pretty solid goaltending going into this season. I would say no knock on, Wedgwood and everything, but I would say, I mean, because he's back, but having Bernier, I think is going to put us in a much better spot. Obviously, we wanted that with, oh man, now I'm forgetting his name from Chicago.
Crawford.
Who retired on his
Corey
life.
Crawford.
Corey Crawford. Yes.
Corey Crawford.
Craw,
Yeah.
craw.
Yeah, and that,
Or what is it? What is it from It's Always Sunny? What's the Eagle milk or what is it? I can't remember what it is.
Oh my God.
Crow's milk. Crow's milk.
Crow's milk.
Right? Crow's milk.
Dude, I was, when that all happened, I was just kind of one of those things where it's like, this sounds about right. Like, this sounds about right. And I just thought it was really funny when Fitzy signed Bernier. He was like, just, you're not planning on retiring in a week, are you? And he's like, no, I'm not planning on retiring. So I thought that was kind of funny, but yeah, you're totally right. The defensive situation with this team, the goaltending with this team, everything, it's all improved. So temper those expectations.
On
paper. We're still in a very tough division. Still in a very tough division. You still have to play the Capitals. You still have to play, the Rangers, who are a weird setup team, but whatever. They're still going to have.
You got to play the Islanders.
You got to play the Islanders, who are dangerous.
Yeah.
So it's not like we're flying in the West over here. It's not like in the LA division where it's like everybody's kind of just in rebuild mode. We have some really tough competition, and to be honest with you, this team on paper looks improved, but I can't, like, when we signed Subban and we were so excited, I was so excited, and it was like this whole, like, yeah, man, like, we got some swag now, like this, and like Gusev, yeah, like, oh man, look at us, oh man, the Devils making moves, and then it was just like that Winnipeg game said it all. That was it.
Mm-hmm.
That Winnipeg game, like, oh my God, yeah, and that was it. So whatever, dude. I just don't want to get too hyped. I don't want to get too excited. I don't want to get too anything, even though it is easy to get excited about a lot of the pieces. Mild expectation, mild but met.
I think you said it perfectly right there, and I like your little M on M right there. Mild but met.
Mild but met.
I think you got something there, buddy. I think you got something there. All right.
Mild but met.
Yo.
Let's see if
you're pretty good, yo.
You're onto something, yo. So
who's on YouTube and who's on Facebook? Who's got some questions? Is Sam Wu? What is Sam Wu texting me? Are these YouTube live questions? Is that what I'm getting over here?
That's a good question.
They're comments.
Oh, okay.
The voice of Sam Wu.
Is this what is this? Ken? Kari? What does this say? A Ken. Zacho's way more productive as a winger. Would like to see one of the younger guys step up and take that third line center spot. Okay. Is that where Jesper Boquist comes in? Adam or Dawson Mercer. Hughes had a nice goal today. Him and Nico both need to produce points this year. Nico's become a solid all-around guy, but needs to start finishing more. Yeah. Defense is going to be fun to watch. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and that's what I was saying before. Finish. And we're not talking about the country. You know what I mean? Like, we want to see some goals. We want to see some. Hey, boy, oh boy. We want to see some finish. I just want to see this team, like, if we're on a 2-on-1, be dangerous again. If we have to go to a stupid shootout, for crying out loud, can we get somebody that's going to score instead of just trying to do something and, like, lose the puck off their stick? Like, that's the other thing that drives me absolutely up the wall. We used to be so lights out when it came to the shootout because you had Parisi and you had Kovalchuk, and it was like Hey, we're in a shootout right now. Cool beans, man. Pack that W in the back pocket and let's hit the train. Now it's like, oh God, we're in a shootout. All right, give me the big L so I can walk the back to the train and feel like crap and cursing the whole way home.
Well,
So I just want to see these guys finish.
Didn't we have like an entire season where we didn't win a shootout? That like near
yeah, it felt like that was last year. Oh yeah, that too. That too. Like 25 straight losses or something like that.
It's
so crazy,
like
dude.
It was like impossible. Just, like how could the odds of this happen? You know, like it was so wild. Well, shootouts. You know what? Gusev was good in the old shootout. You know, but he's not there anymore. So. You know, there are is Jesper Brackett. You know, there's got to be some shootout specialists. Sharon Govich has got a nice little shot there. You know, so we'll see. I think we'll be okay with that. There's a lot of young guns. I think, you know, don't forget about the Holtz and the Mertzers and all those coming as well. I think we're going to be fine with that. The skill stuff. You know, they got to put it together though. We started seeing glimpses of it, but they got to really put it together for, you know, consistency, a consistent amount of time. Like we said, we don't want to see 35 points or 40 points. We want to see something more about 60 points a year because that means it's a little bit more. You know, that's the thing with those totals as well. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're numbers and whatever, but that also shows consistency of performing as a 1C and a 2C, you know?
Yeah, 100%. This team needs to take that next step, and not just one or two players, but the entire organization, the entire team. Like, it can't be okay to lose anymore. It can't be okay to like go into the building and expect to lose. Like, it has to be to the point. And you know, management's saying the right things. The coaches are saying the right things. Everybody's saying the right things. But damn it, you could say all the right things you want. But until we as fans see it actually happening, we have a hard time believing it because we've been promised that, you know, we've been promised this and promised that. And every time it feels like they're starting to get their footing, every time it feels like they're starting to go in the right direction, they fall apart and we go through these miserable seasons. And I know, listen, I am a diehard Devils, Yankees, and Giants fan. I was very spoiled growing up. I was born in 1982, so I'm almost 40 years old. And in my 40 years of existence, I have seen nothing but winning. I've seen championships upon championships. And I know I'm rubbing this in your face. Because,
all right, we don't want to hear about your Yankees.
Listen,
right? We got it.
We as fans have seen this team rise to the top and be the talk of the town. And I miss even sniffing the playoffs. And I know we all do. We're all in that same kind of boat, right? Just we're gonna execute.
Yeah, but like you said, mild but met. You know, we may not make the playoffs this year, but I think we should definitely be over 500. You know, before this. Well, Sam just went away. I think we should definitely be, you know, above 500 by the time this season is over. That's you know, that's what I really want to see. I would love for them to be pushing for the playoffs. And I think they could. Personally, I think they could with the talent that they brought in. If it works out the way, you know. But you also brought up a good point. Don't forget, our division is tough. It's tough. You know, the Capitals.
But that shouldn't be an excuse either.
No, it's not an excuse. But they destroyed us last year. You know, like they got to play better again. Like every game, they just annihilated us. Like, you know, we got to play better there. The Islanders, we know how they're built. We know how they're constructed. Okay, they're going to be those smart veterans over there that know how to play the game wisely. They're not going to blow you out. Although, you know, hey, you got some threats with Barzell and everything like that. We all know that, but they're going to play that smart, grind them out game. You know, Pittsburgh again, Crosby and Malkin, like those guys are now those aging like.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No. I was agreeing with you. They're getting older, but yeah, still dangerous.
They're much wiser now too. So, you know, this division is going to be tough. It's going to be tough. That's why the playoffs may not be a possibility for the Devils. But if they can get that 500 mark, you know, I think that is a huge, huge improvement for this team. So, I think it's fair for the fans to expect some point totals from Jack and from Nico. I don't think saying like you want to see at least over 50, like, and the 60 would be nice. That 60 point would be nice. Is that a lot to ask for? You know what? It depends. If they stay healthy, yeah. Thinking over an 82 game season, that's my expectation. If someone obviously goes down for a month or two, then maybe my expectations might change depending on injuries and blah, 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 what happens. You never know through the course of the season. Look at last year. Everything that could possibly went wrong last year, So hopefully we got a lot of it out of the way. And now this year might be, a smooth sailing. Like, what about Bob? I'm a sailor.
Yeah, I'm a sailor.
On a boat.
I'm a sailor now.
Way out.
I'm a sailor.
Way out on the water, away from the dock.
Look at me, baby
Dr.
steps.
Marvin?
Baby stepping towards a playoff spot. Baby stepping towards a playoff spot. That's all we have to. Gil.
Yes.
Gil.
Yes. I said good morning, Gil.
Good morning, Gil. I said good morning. Yeah, baby stepping towards the playoffs. That's our mantra.
Mild but met. Yeah.
Exactly. And I, honestly, I just want to be like when we get into January, I just want to be like, hey man, we're hanging in. We're hanging in. You want to get towards like that middle part of the season. Go ahead, Sam. What are you going to say, Sam?
This guy has no idea what it's like to be a Mets fan. He was so spoiled with the Yankees.
So spoiled. Spoiled.
I'm just like, this is not that bad. I'm just like, this is not that bad, guys. Have you been a Mets fan? If you're a Mets fan, this is nothing. This is nothing.
The only thing, anytime I talk smack against Yankee fans, the only thing I can say as a Mets fan is like, oh, you guys were part of the steroids era and cheated.
Oh, yeah, I always throw that out there.
Yeah, but so is the entire Major League Baseball across the board, so it doesn't really matter.
I always tell one of our good friends named Joe, who is a notorious trash talker.
Yeah.
I'm always like, asterisk, put that asterisk there. A-Royd.
Yeah.
You don't forget about A-Royd.
Well, 2009. Yeah, 2009, but,
I just love
whatever.
Around. But either way, you're spoiled. If you're a Mets fan, you'd be prepared for this. You'd be prepared for this
for
if
sure.
you're a real Mets fan. Yeah.
It really it really tests your fandom, your fanhood, and because seriously, if you're a Mets fan, all it takes is to hit the channel button one down on your box, and you see a winning team, and then you go up, and it's like, oh, we're up by 7 runs. Edwin Diaz is going to be there. Bam, season's over.
Season's over.
All I had to do was just leave it on the other channel, watch winning.
That's the that clip from Family Guy when he's like, all right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Mets season opener, and season's over. And so, I mean, listen.
We made it to August this year. That was pretty good. We were relevant in August, so that was that's improvement.
Well, hey.
Usually it's by 4th of July that we're like, well, that was fun while it lasted,
Yeah. And there goes
that. When hockey and football season start.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, that's usually by 4th of July.
As soon as DeGrom went down, I was just like, all right,
forget it.
How many days does training camp for football? And
much like last year when Nico went down, it was just like, well, that was it. There it goes. Like, that was the last hope right there. I was just like, that's it. It's done. That was one of my breaking points of 2020.
With the first pick, the Devils select.
That was one of my breaking points. The Nico puck to the face. I was just like, you've got to. We just got this guy back. You've got to be kidding me. Like,
no, don't forget butt puck. Butt puck.
Well, that was another one. That was you. That was you. That was your mental breakdown point. Mine was the Nico. Hey, we got him back for 3 games. He scored a goal and got an assist. He started to look good. Oh, random puck to the face. Like
every post game, every Let's Go Devils post game was just sell the team. Just sell the team. Get it over with already.
Oh God.
No, but
Well,
I think
gentlemen-
Now I have
mild
to
but
be
met,
nice.
mild but met is
Yeah.
is a good thing, and I think that is the mindset that we should be in as fans for this coming season, like 100%. Because
Yeah.
if we raise those expectations like many of us did, like we talked about when PK Subban came aboard, I know I was ready to roll. I know everyone had the gooses flying east or whatever it was, like, it was
Mhm.
right, because when he in Vegas first and then like everyone was pumped, but expectations were way too high. Mild but met.
Like, way too.
What
But
we're
there's.
looking for right here.
Yeah, but that was also the year that the Rangers got Panarin, and it was like we were having this arms race with the Rangers, and it was like, oh, well, you guys got this guy, but we got that guy, and ha ha ha, we won the offseason. There was
now
a lot
we have
of
Jimmy
like,
Vesey, so ha.
yeah,
So, ha.
exactly. Well, ha ha ha, we didn't even need Liam Neeson to like convince him to show up. So hey, I don't know, man, but I mild is the best way to approach. And I just think, and that's the thing too, is the first 10 games usually show you what the season's going to be like. That's kind of like a whatever narrative about it. I know Lou used to say, like, what was it? The first quarter of the season. Yeah. And yes, Stam. Yes. To answer that question. Yes.
An extended version of the Let's Go Devils podcast.
As my foot is shaking like this, I'm like, oh my God.
Can you multitask and still do the podcast from where you're sitting?
I could. Nobody's going to want to hear that.
No.
But Lou always had the season broken down into little sections, and you would have like these mile markers to be like, okay, well, where are we at?
Mm-hmm.
So with this team, it's like the first 10. The first 10, yeah, you want to gauge where the team is after the first 10. But I really think it's going to be the first like 15 to 20 that you're going to get a good barometer of where this team is going and what direction. I think that the first 10, there's a lot of new pieces. There's a lot of, the defense coming together and stuff like that. So I think the first 10 is going to be a lot of like that gelling process, figuring out if you're going to keep Zacha on the wing or if you're going to, or at center, or if you're going to put him back to wing. So there's a lot of things that are going to kind of take place, and that's obvious. I'm not stating something that's like, whoa, like earth-shattering. But I think that this team is going to really find an identity. I want to say, maybe I'm just being optimistic, within the first 15 to 20 games. And that could be good or bad. That could be like, hey, you know what? These guys, maybe they're, I don't know, 10-5.
Oops, sorry.
All right, then. Maybe they're like 10-5. Maybe they're 5-10, whatever the case may be, but you want to see improvement. You want to see like, I don't know, man. Like I feel like once they gel together, this team is going to be fun to watch.
I think they're going to be fun, and I think they're going to come out. I think they're going to come out swinging, like the boys in Undercut back in the day. I think they're going to come out swinging. They're going to be excited. They're young. They're going to be fast. And I think they might take a couple of those other teams, by surprise in those first 10 games. We'll see where it all ends up, but I'm feeling the boys are going to come out on a good run, and hopefully they gel together nicely.
Yeah, agreed.
I have a feeling that the NFC is going to be solidified, and nobody is getting near Mackenzie Blackwood or Bernier.
We should get an
I think
NFC
that's going to make a big
championship
difference.
Belt. Give it out once a month.
It's going to make a bit. I think the penalty kill is going to be improved upon, and we're going to see a different team defensively. But it's going to take some games to get there. Hopefully, not too many.
Your analysis
As you're saying,
Beer Bear.
bored me to death. That monotone, very slow delivery.
Just yawns blatantly right in the middle.
Right in the. I was trying not to. I was swatting a mosquito away from me, and at the same time,
one of those Shaun of the Dead zombie yawns right there.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. But hey,
all right,
let's go, man.
Well,
a couple days away.
Final thoughts. final thoughts? Any final thoughts?
Final thoughts. Excited to see Wednesday. Excited to get this going. And I'm mild, but met.
Very cool. I will just say once again, happy birthday out there to Arlette and to everyone who showed up and partied over the weekend and saw the band play. Much love and respect. So thank you very much for that.
Yeah, I just want to thank all the listeners that attended again at Arlette's Bash. Lots of compliments about the podcast. We really appreciate it. Also, stay tuned. We're going to have some big guests coming up soon on the podcast now that the off season's over. I've been watching all the scrimmages, but we're getting back swing of things. So keep it here. The Let's Go Devils podcast, the most commented Devils podcast in the history of New Jersey Devils podcast. That's all. Oh, I forgot to go big screen.
I'm just kidding.
I'm trying to stretch this as long as we can.
I know.
On that note, trying to find the graphic here. Hold on, Beer Baron.
Oh my God. I'm doing this on purpose.
Until next time, let's go.